That's fatal.
What's going on, Popper Squad? Fatal Steven here, and sorry I haven't uploaded in 3 days. I've been battling a head cold. I'm still battling it, but it's near the end stages, so I actually have energy now to actually record and make a video. Well, today's video is a smaller one. It's actually about patch 1.19 for W2K22. Apparently, according to this Twitter user, Huskus the Pig, patch 1.19 is currently being, worked on and tested as of October 12th, 2022. Now, he posted this picture right here that I don't really understand, but from what he tweeted, as you see on the bottom there, it says all builds, 12th October 2022, Wednesday. And it says non-public, which means that this patch they're working on, builds, patches, and notes, as you see up there, says W2K22, is currently being tested on October 12th, 2022, which means that this patch might be coming at the end of this month or early November. And that's also what this Twitter user speculates as well. Now, what does this mean and what can you look forward to in this patch? Well, the Twitter user posted that hopefully all my faction content gets unlocked and Bray Wyatt is added to the game. Very high hopes, I'm not gonna lie. I don't see any of that happening, but I do see those current new models that I talked about like 3 videos ago, that fucked up Batista I just talked about last video. I see those models updating and actually, looking like what it's supposed to be. So I see that messed up Batista turning into retro Batista. I see maybe the retro Orton model getting some retro hair. All the hair was static. I see all the hair actually flowing and working now. So Bianca's ponytail should work. The hair on the Ultimate Warrior model, that should work. The hair on Funhouse Alexa, that should work. So I see all that being fixed in patch 1.19. And if you already download the models following my videos, they should auto update and you should have the fixed versions already in your game pretty much, as long as you downloaded them. If you didn't download them yet, you might miss out on them because when they get updated and fixed, there's a chance of them being blacklisted from the communications, and then you will get the content damage error and you will never be able to download them ever on consoles. So make sure you download them while you can. Now let's talk about the elephant in the room, right? Bray Wyatt coming to my faction. And will he ever come to my faction? Now, I don't really understand this whole uproar when it comes to Bray Wyatt being in my faction and why certain content creators are making a big deal about it and that he should be in my faction and here's why he should be in it. I understand it and I get it, but I'm not going to sugarcoat it and I'm not going to get your hopes up. I've covered communications and hidden content since this game came out, and I noticed a pattern when it comes to my faction. Now, my faction, if you noticed, has never dropped a new superstar. It's always been a new model of an existing superstar in the game. For example, we have Retro Batista for Batista that's already in game. Retro Randy Orton and updated Randy Orton for an existing Randy Orton already in game. Golden Standard Shelton Benjamin, Bianca, Rhea, Alexa. We have all these new models with slight changes to them and different variations, but they're always a counterpart to an existing model already in the game. There's never a brand new superstar added to a My Faction pack. I believe the base game had Godfather as the only My Faction card. Correct me if I'm wrong, there's probably more, or like 2 or 3 more, but I know Godfather is for sure one that came with the base game, a part of my faction, that is locked to my faction. Everything else like Mankind, The Rock 98, were not actual cards. They were just 2K20 leftovers that PC players were able to dig up and upload on the communications. So Godfather maybe like 2 more, being the only exception of actual new superstars that were locked behind my faction. Besides that, whenever new updates came out and new my faction packs came out, it has always been a different version of an existing superstar already in the game. So that's why I don't see them adding Bray Wyatt, even though, as everyone says, all the parts are there for Bray Wyatt. You just gotta really put it together and upload them. You gotta remember, Bray Wyatt has a new look now, and also they didn't do it for Cody Rhodes. And I know the reason being, Cody Rhodes, they'd have to start from scratch. Bray Wyatt, the pieces are already there. Yeah, I understand that, but also you have to remember, they need selling points for 2K23. 2K22, although being a huge success, has a lot of issues that still haven't been taken care of. Universe mode is a mess and has never been fixed yet. There's countless issues at hand that still haven't been addressed. My faction mode, although being a new mode, and I'm not just going to blatantly hate on it either, I think it's a cool mode. I understand the idea they were going for, but I think they executed it poorly. There are clearly My Faction fans, and you can just search on YouTube and you'll see content creators uploading videos of them opening packs and playing My Faction. But it is a mode for the minority fan base of WWE 2K. I personally don't play it. I'm not gonna act like I play it. I gave it a try and it was just kind of boring to me. I think what they should do to fix it, and it's very simple, just 2 things. 1, just allow us to play the match on the hardest difficulty and allow us to play the match how we want with our card versus the AI's card. And then if we just win the match on the highest difficulty, it gives us 3 stars. The challenges during the match is kind of what throws me off, and it makes me have to like force to do the challenges rather than try to enjoy myself with the match. So if they just allowed me to defeat the other AI superstar on the hardest difficulty and boom, I get 3 stars automatically, I would have a lot more fun with it. And the second option is obviously if we unlock a new card of a different variation of a model that's already in the game, so a DX Triple H or Triple H 98 for example, once that card is unlocked in my faction mode, it should also unlock an exhibition mode automatically. This would give the player base incentive to play the mode. Even if they don't really like the mode, they would have incentive to play the mode. They'll open packs, they might even buy packs, 2K might even make more money if these cards that were unlocked in my faction also went into exhibition mode. Players would see the announcements of new my faction packs, see who's in it, and be like, oh my god, cool, I would love to play as NXT Roman. They'd hop in my faction mode, they'd play the Daily Tower or whatever, and let's say that if you complete the Daily Tower, you'll unlock the NXT Roman, and then once you have it in my faction, you can use an exhibition mode. Or if you want to cut a shortcut, you can just buy the pack outright with your own money, and boom, now you have it in my faction and you have an exhibition mode. Obviously, I wouldn't prefer that, but it's not pay to win as people say it is. You can strictly play my faction mode without spending a single dollar. But I think that if these my faction models also were available in exhibition mode, I personally would just outright buy them than having to play through the challenge, to be honest. But at least the option would be there for players to play through the challenges to unlock the cards, to then have them in exhibition mode as well. So those are my really only 2 complaints with my faction mode that they could easily fix moving forward in 2K23. Obviously, this mode is here to stay, and I hope they learned that with 2K23. So they need Cody Rhodes and Bray Wyatt as selling points for 2K23 because, like I said, 2K22 has left a sour taste in a lot of players' mouths. And 2K23 is probably not going to be like a huge difference compared to 2K22 because they're not skipping a full year to make 2K23. It's coming out next year sometime. So although it would be amazing if they gave us new superstars in my faction packs, they have never done that yet, and I don't see them starting it now, especially since all the DLC is pretty much done with. I see them adding Funhouse Alexa to my faction as sort of a little nod to like, welcome back Bray Wyatt. I also see a lot of people wondering if entrances and theme songs are going to come to my faction. Again, they have never come to my faction. The my faction mode doesn't even have entrances to begin with. So when you download the my faction models from the communications and they don't come with theme songs, they never had theme songs to begin with. Technically, you shouldn't even be able to download them and play as them in exhibition mode. So the fact that we can even do that thanks to the PC player base is a blessing itself. So that's the reality of it when it comes to my faction mode and what we're going to see in future my faction packs. Expect only different variations of current superstars that we have in game. So maybe like a retro John Cena for an existing John Cena, retro versions for other existing superstars. And finally, if they do add Bray Wyatt to the game, I will gift 2K23 Deluxe Edition to one of my viewers. And if Bray Wyatt never gets announced for my faction, I'll still gift 2K23 Deluxe Edition to one of my viewers because you guys are fucking awesome. Anyways, guys, expect patch 1.19 to come out at the end of this month, maybe beginning of November, around there. They're currently testing it, so obviously it's going to be coming out soon. Make sure you download those models while you have the chance. I don't want to hear about people missing out on them. I'm going to go eat some soup and recover some more. Catch you guys next video. Stay proper. Peace.